important people in the house every time. Hey guys, what's my shirt doing? That's bad. What? That's crazy. What? Doesn't make any sense. Nothing is logical in my world. Hey, I wanted to talk about something. I was in a consultation yesterday, a private reading. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, by the way, I spend my entire day doing phone readings or video readings, like this, all over the world all day long. Those are my 2 days to dedicate to your private readings. And yesterday I was talking to this sweet, beautiful, wonderful, divine feminine, and she starts to talk about this situation. She is right off the bat. We didn't even get into a conversation. I was like, hey, what can I help you with? And she just said, when is my masculine coming back? And is it going to be before this thing happens? And when she said it, I got all like teared up because I was like, oh my God, like, does he know about this? And it was very, it was very traumatic, and it involved her children. And, I was like, it just like talk about like stopping you in your tracks. And I just like, I was just, I didn't know what to say. Like, oh my God, like, so many divine feminines have gone through so much during the separation time, and it's just killed them to not have their masculine show up in one shape or form. Like, I went through cancer. I had cancer, and I told my masculine, he didn't do anything. He didn't even say, I hope you get better. I'm here for you. Talk to me if you want, I had clients that were there for me and my friends, but that was pretty much it, and like other people, like it's like Christmas, you go through stuff at Christmas, or somebody dies in your family who's so close to you. The list goes on and on and on. And one of the most common questions that I get in these readings when I do like a quick relationship spread or a twin flame check-in, it's like, or in person at the lighthouse, I get it all the time. Are you sure he's talking, that he feels that way about me, not somebody else? And I'm like, I'll even prep them before they sit down for the reading. And I'll be like, you want to inquire about your love life? Well, what I'm about to tell you, you might not think that it's about you, but it is. And you'll even, I don't know what's going on here. And you'll even, you'll even doubt it when I tell you, and they still do it. They still like see the spread and they go, does he really feel that way about me? And I just shake my head. I'm like, I told you would ask, and I told you the answer is yes, it's you. And but then they go through this separation. And they're like, I once would believe that. I once thought that was there. But when he ghosted me for the millionth time, I started to wonder or guess, and started being forced to look for other options. I don't want to be with anybody else. Their heart is completely with him, but they feel forced to go to somebody else. They don't want to. They always feel like they're settling. You guys, I'm on this end of it, hearing this all the time. I've been there. I was forced. I was forced by my masculines slamming the door shut, And at the time, I was just like you guys and didn't have a lot of knowledge of this. So I was like, damn, if I'm going to chase somebody, and it's like, especially if you're getting ghosted, it's like flat out insulting. It's like, no, but a lot of these guys are used to being chased by women. They're They're like that guy from Crazy Stupid Love, like a player. A lot of them have been a player or taken advantage of having sex with a lot of people. Now, I'm not talking about males. So don't be judging men. These are feminines too, females too. It's just the one that runs away from love instead of embracing it. Whereas the feminines are the ones who are just like, bring it on, They're ready for it. They've been through a lot of shit and they're like ready to settle down with someone who they think their masculine is initially. When they meet them, they're just like, oh my God, this is the sweetest soul in the world. That's the thing about the masculines that I feel so bad about. It's like, these are guys who weren't popular when they were younger, a lot of them. They felt rejected. They felt like idiots. They felt put down, Even some of a lot of their mothers really put them down or controlled them or just made them feel like they weren't good enough their whole lives. And then we come along and we see that sweet part of them that they don't show other people. We see them with their hearts completely wide open, and we see them for who they really are underneath that women chase me thing or men chase me thing. A lot of masculines are women. Be on the lookout when people are talking. You can tell them masculine because they got a lot of people chasing them. And they're total sweethearts at their core. And anyway, so these guys, they get, or girls, whatever, these masculines, they get used and abused for years, and they chase the wrong things. They sabotage themselves. But when they meet you, it's like the whole world opens up. And for just a moment, they believe in Santa Claus. For just a moment, they're very moved deep to their core, and they want to be a better man or woman. I'm going to quit saying that. I'm just going to refer to him as a male. It's just easier. Okay. So here he is, this guy who's been putting on an act his whole life, people pleasing everybody around him and being fake to himself, to other people. He's even convinced himself, that if he is religious enough or has enough money or has a big enough, if he's popular enough, if he's like in enough movies, if he's whatever it is, it's like he's never good enough. He's always striving for better. And it's from a lack of self-esteem. It's from a lack of really feeling worthy of that Santa Claus that comes along and is all starry-eyed about him. He loves being admired and adored like that. And he knows somehow, not even somehow, he knows obviously that it's a very sincere and intimate connection. He's been an idiot in front of her and she loved it. She ate it up, and vice versa. They have this playful, sweet thing that kind of shocked them. Like, I can't believe I acted like that with her. Like, I could open up to her completely. Holy crap. And they can't get her off of their mind. But anyway, when it comes down to them actually reaching out to their divine feminine, it scares them so bad because they're so scared of getting hurt again. They're so scared of that bubble being popped and them finding out Santa Claus isn't real that they'd rather just believe that Santa Claus isn't real. It's just like, no, I'm not even going there. By the time I finally treat her like I want to treat her, like she deserves to be treated, I'm going to feel so guilty. And she's going to shun me, and she's not going to have anything to do with me anymore, or she's going to cheat on me. Some masculines actually cheat before they can get cheated on because they're sure she's going to leave him for somebody better. There's so much self-sabotage that goes on for these masculines. It's unreal. And they admit that they're doing it. They know that they're doing it. And I look at them and I'm like, seriously, that's the angle you're coming from this from? Like, what? Are you kidding me? But I just wanted to share with you also, one of my favorite moments with a masculine was with a female divine masculine. This one gives me chills. And she says, She says, so what's going on for my love life? Like, tell me what's coming up for me. What kind of person do I have coming in? So I tell her about this person, and she's like, yeah, I like him. He's cool. Yeah, he's really cute, and he's da da da. Okay. And then she'll say, well, what about this one? Oh, well, this one's da 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 da. And then this one and this one. And then I can feel the avoidance in it. I can feel it. It's like a subtle avoidance. Like it's a superficiality to it. It's like, what shirt should I wear? It's like that. What freaking shirt should I wear? In other words, which karmic person can I choose to abuse me next? you know? And it's like she was like grasping for straws, naming off all these people. And I sensed this and I just said, is there somebody that in your heart of hearts, when you're alone or when you're not happy with these other people, that you think about and that you wish you could be with? You might even love them deeply and you haven't told them what they mean to you. And she was just like, yeah. And I said, why aren't you with that person? And then she said, I don't deserve him. I don't deserve him. He's too good for me. And I was like, honey, there's no such thing as anybody too good for anybody. You know, he needs you as much as you need him. Do you know that? Do you know that he loves you just as much or would? I mean, some of these people haven't met yet, but they've seen their person, you know, maybe on social media or something, and they feel that same way. Like, I just know that it would be this sweet connection. So whatever situation you're in, it's like, I just told her, I said, you know, he misses you. He thinks about you all the time. He looks out the window and wonders why you're ignoring him. And then she starts crying. She's like, I've been ghosting him. Why? I know I'm going to sabotage myself. I know I'm going to hurt him somehow. And that would kill me. And I said, what if I was to tell you right now that you could be with him and that you guys could be really, really happy? Both of you deserving each other, not because you've done anything to deserve it, but because you are two people who are crazy about each other, who just choose to have a really good time and trust life and just get back to being playful, you know? And I was like, you guys could be together. And then she goes like this and she looks, it's like she's looking for more shirts. She's looking. And she looks up and just tears start streaming down. And I said, what? She goes, do you really think I could be with him? And I was like, I was so shocked in that moment. Do you really think, goosebumps, do you really think I could be with him? Do you really think we could be happy? And I was like, yes, yes, I do. And she just started sobbing, like crying in her hands, and just completely broke down. You know, and I was like, whoa, whoa. You ask a masculine about those karmics, they will not break down crying. You ask them about anybody else in their life and they will not break down crying. But you ask about that feminine who holds their heart and you will see them fall and like become a little 5-year-old, a little kid. And it's because they're not used to dealing with their emotions quite like the feminines. And it's because they deny it and they suppress it. So, believe me, they love you. And even though it's like they get frozen with fear, especially when it's their turn to come up at bat. It's like they freeze. It's like their big opportunity, right? It's like, oh my God, she's come down with a serious illness. Oh my God, she's she's about to, you know, have this. I don't know. I'm not going to say certain things, but it's like really they just like they're so afraid to say the wrong thing or to do the wrong thing that they just freeze and they don't do anything. And I know it's such a hard dynamic to understand. Maybe some of you have been the masculine before, so think back to then. Think back to when you were the one that was being chased by somebody and they loved you desperately so much, and something happened to them. Like you probably felt like crap and you wanted to do something, but a part of them is like, well, let the best man for them step forward, right? Let the best man for them, because they're going to anyway. So I'm just going to let somebody better than me take care of them right now. Well, I ended up having to go to clients and friends. And I did have a guy I was getting to know online, a Bosnian dude. And he was sweet enough. He was sweet enough to check on me every day, several times a day. He kept me active, chatting about how I felt, what I was going through, how much it hurt. He was there for me, but he was a complete stranger. I'd never even met him. We'd only been texting. And he was like my little angel through that time. But would I have felt so much better, comforted by my masculine? Hell yeah. I would have felt so much more at ease, so much more comfortable. And all of you have had those situations where all you want is that hug. Just a hug. They're not even asking for words. Just be there and hold them. That's all they want. They just want to know how you're doing. When I talk to these feminines in these sessions, you guys wouldn't believe one of the most common things they say to me. And this is just so beautiful. They always say, I don't care if I get to be with him. I don't care if I get to be with him. I just want him to be happy. And if that karmic is the one he's happy with, if he's happy with the Barbie doll, if he's happy with the aesthetically pleasing or people pleasing person that he's choosing because she looks good on paper, because he doesn't feel like he deserves me and he's just going to go with a plan B that's easier, so be it. And I'm always shaking my head. No, he's not happier with that. He's running from you. He's not happier with that. You guys, the karmics treat them like crap, like their mothers did. They act really nice in the beginning. They put on a great song and dance. But then they get real materialistic, and then they get real demanding, and then they get bossy, and then they do all the things the karmics do. And when you guys are like, I don't understand that. I don't get how they could treat them that way. He's the most beautiful person I've ever known in my life. The karmics don't get to see that side of him, you guys. For one. And for two, remember when you were a karmic to someone. Because you were. Look back at trying to fit the square peg into a round hole. And even saying that you loved that person when it was really about like, do you realize what will happen to my career if you leave me? Do you realize what will happen to our money if you leave me? Do you realize what will happen to my reputation if you will hear them say things like that? That is not somebody who loves you. That is somebody who was clinging to you to get something from you. That was a karmic. That is a karmic. The one who loves you wants you to be happy regardless of anything that comes to them. They just love you. They just love you. That's it. And if you say you don't want to be with them, they will be absolutely crushed, but they will walk out that door because they honor you. They respect your wishes. It will crush them. It will kill them. And then they'll come see me and they will bawl their eyes out. But they'll do it because they love you. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's such an epidemic. It's like I wish I could just like wave a magic wand over the planet and just make all the masculines not afraid. And that can be remedied, by the way, and it is being remedied by men and feminines. I mean, everybody makes it about men, and it's not like that. Although men have been conditioned not to talk about their feelings, but masculines, even the female masculines, don't know how to deal with their feelings. They're not using tools. They don't know what the heck to do when they're afraid or whatever. They run or they drink, or a lot of them also have addictions still. And they're just like drinking too much or gambling too much, or they've got some kind of an issue that they know that if they got with their feminine, the feminines would want what's best for them, So they would probably have to cut out the habit. But a lot of feminines that I know, they're not like that either. They're like, if you enjoy drinking that much, go ahead. I don't think it's healthy for you, and I don't think it's good for you. But if that's what you want, if that's what you're going to be doing right now, then that's what you're going to be doing. They're much more accepting of who he is and how he is, even if it's really shitty at the moment. And then they end up resorting to going to somebody else because they can't wait forever, you guys. They cannot wait forever. And you guys know in your heart of hearts you're self-sabotaging. Put your pride down. Apologize. Just say you're sorry. She doesn't care what you've done. Honest to God, she does not care. She's hurt, but she will forgive you because her love for you is so much stronger than any upset she has over anything that's ever happened, okay? So just apologize. Just joke around and, except this is so funny. This one feminist, she says, her masculine finally contacted her, and he just said a bunch of nonsense that didn't make any sense. I was like, well, at least he reached out. But it was like very superficial, stupid stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't even want to repeat it, but she's like, the next time you talk to me, the next time you call me back, could you please get real? Tell me how you feel about me or something, or tell me what's been going on all this time. I know some of these couples are coming into union and they're totally avoiding talking about the fact that they were with this karmic all this time. And it's because they're embarrassed. They know they settled. They knew they got themselves into a really stupid situation. Even some of them started like financially supporting their feminines, or not their feminines, the karmics. And so they got themselves in contracts. They signed a lease with this person. They co-signed for a car. They're like, oh my gosh, you guys have to learn how to identify a karmic much quicker. Oh my gosh, you'll save yourself so much money and so much pain. But at least it's not emotional pain, right, guys? Because you guys don't really ultimately care about her all that much. You just want away from her. You just want to wipe your hands clean and get the hell out of that sticky situation. So don't get in it in the first place. Go toward the woman who has your heart, the one you feel you don't deserve. Go to her and tell her how you feel, okay? Feminines, I cannot tell you to wait for the guy, because some of these guys just have to go through it. They have to mature. Some of them now are choosing karmics again. They just got rid of a karmic and they're choosing a karmic again, like that masculine I was talking about earlier, who was desperately going, well, what about that one? Well, what about that one? What about that one? And I was like, what about that one? No. What about that one? What about that one? What about that one? What about that one? No. Another story is I met with this one masculine. We were having lunch and we were just, talking pretty candidly, and he's talking about all these options he's got for girls and all this stuff, and that I was just like, he's like, well, there's someone I want to be with, but I'm not ready for her yet. And I said, you're not ready for her yet. And he goes, no, but I'm like, I'm having, I'm going with this girl that I know isn't of my caliber. She's beneath me, but we're having good sex. Like I'm not that good sex that's healing what happened in my marriage. So he had a really hard time, sexually with his person, right? So then he goes to this karmic who is more like the feminine that he really wants to be with, right? More like her. So there's an adaptation. There's like an acclimation that she's more spiritual. She's healing me sexually. Maybe he's getting his finances more together from what happened with the divorce. So they go through, if they choose a karmic, Do not judge that like they're just going after sex or money or whatever it is, because a lot of them do. That's sometimes their logic, but these guys are sometimes they're actually very logically thinking it through. I'm choosing somebody who's a little bit more like my feminine. Sometimes they even choose somebody with the same name or that looks like them or has something just real similar to them because they're trying to like make their way up to him. When I asked him, why don't you just be with the one you want to be with? And he jumped back and he goes, oh, no, no, no. And I said, why? I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what do they think is going to happen? Like, what do they think is going to happen? Oh, God forbid I should feel all this joy, you know? And it's just, they really have a fear of failure. But I got to tell you guys, failure is all in your head. You succeed every time you learn something from something, you know, and course correct just a little bit. That's success to me, you know? You have success when you're smart enough to emotionally support yourself. That's really all you got to do. If masculines are listening to this, if you're masculine, which you are, some of you, so learn some tools. Look at my resources page or just learn some tools on how to deal with feelings and you'll be all right. And you won't have to worry about failure because you couldn't fail because you've always got your back emotionally, and so does your feminine. You're not giving her enough credit. They're not the same as the karmics. They're not going to treat you the same way. They really aren't. You guys are going to get triggered. I'm not saying everything's going to be perfect either. You're going to get triggered. But she's much more compassionate. She's much more evolved emotionally, and you know that. So she's much more mature. She's much more compassionate. You couldn't have a better person on your side or by your side. And she wants to be with you more than anything in the world. And she's sitting there, some of them bored, some of them emotional eating to cope. Some of them they're looking into a-holes or dating a-holes, or they're dating guys who are crazy about them, but they don't like them back. And all that happening because you're just sitting there going, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. And well, you're going to lead them right into the arms of an a-hole. You want that to happen? Or they're going to go for somebody that they have to like settle for or whatever. I'm not saying your twin flame is the person for you, but a true love counterpart. There's so many different categories. There's like soulmates and like soul flames and all this kind of stuff, right? Whatever label you put on it. Somebody who's, a lot of these feminines are going to go towards somebody who's pretty awesome, probably. But you had their heart at hello. You did. And you deserve this person. And not because you earned it, not because you've done X, Y, and Z, but because you love her. You love her, she loves you. And it's real. It's the real kind of love. It's not faking it out so they can get your money. It's not. You guys can feel the difference. It's not manipulative. It's not. You guys need to become more self-aware. Those masculines I'm talking about need to become more self-aware so they can feel and sense when they're being manipulated versus when it's genuine. The more self-aware you become, you even catch yourself being fake, stuff like that. So you would see it more easily in somebody else if they were being fake. Anyway, I hope this clarifies for some of you. When these couples do come together, and they do come together, the thing that holds them together from going into separation again is the ability to take personal responsibility, to be able to say you are sorry, to be able to say, this is my shit, it's not yours. And don't run away, but just say, this is my shit and I own it and let me work on that. And I'm sorry that came across a certain way. It's like mature. It's just mature. It's like not overreacting to things, but being able to just discuss it as a team. Hey, we're partners. We're in this together. We both have stuff that's unhealed in us. So let's be a team and work together, right? If you guys can come from that attitude of not being too codependent to where you're like, well, if only you would do this, then I would feel okay. Then you guys have sticking power. If you guys can come from a more mature standpoint, you guys could make it last the rest of your lives. But if you guys start getting, too codependent, you guys are going to separate. You guys are going to go other direction again, other directions. So, and I've actually told some feminines, let him go to his karmic. Oh, and by the way, just because they go get married or just because they have a baby or something like that happens, does not mean he loves that karmic at all. I look at his cards, some of these masculines who like go off and marry this karmic. And the masculines do that. They go after karmics. They either go after you or they go after karmics. So they'll go marry this karmic, right? Because the karmic usually manipulates them into it, pretending they're pregnant or like faking an engagement that didn't happen. Or, I mean, it's trickery. It's total trickery. But she ends up, he ends up getting tricked and marrying this person. And then I look at his cards about how he feels about her, and it's already the day they get married. The day, I'm not kidding you, the day they get married. And every day forward in that marriage, they are wanting their feminine. If you're a karmic listening to this, and you have tricked somebody or manipulated them into marrying you, begged and pleaded and guilted and shamed him into marrying you instead of marrying somebody who the dynamics that we talk about here on this channel, he doesn't love you, and you know it. You know it in your heart of hearts. It was way too hard in coming together. You had to work way too hard, and you have not been yourself. Let him go to his feminine. Let him go. You deserve what's best for you too. You do have a true love counterpart out there if you go grow up and mature a bit. You got to get in a good vibration. You can't be all complainy and you can't be all low vibration to attract your masculine, to attract your true love counterpart. You got to grow up a bit first. These feminines, they earned him. They earned him over a period of time of emotional development, spiritual development. We're talking about a different kind of earning, And the feminines are always a bit more evolved than the masculine at first, But I'll tell you, some of these masculines, they catch up to their feminines and they surpass them. Do not underestimate him because they study, they evolve, they get treated like crap enough to where they wake up. They wake up in the sense that they're like, become more self-aware. They're like, oh my God, what am I doing with this jerk? What am I doing with this person who's treating me this way? I deserve to be loved. And I know just who loves me. So anyway, that's enough. It's enough. It's enough. So I want to do a blessing to help the masculines. Any masculines who are listening to this, and just help you guys break through this self-sabotage. And many of you are right now. It's so beautiful just to start seeing this in the cards. Many of you masculines are breaking free. So I'm not saying you're not. I'm just trying to give some of those feminines who haven't had their masculines approach them yet hope. You don't have to settle. Don't wait, but don't settle either. Go with a true love counterpart, whether that's your twin flame or soulmate or whoever he is. And there are other, I believe there is another category I haven't discussed yet, nor am I allowed to. So just know that there are options for you feminines. And do not doubt the cards. Do not doubt the cards. Do not doubt your intuition and what your gut tells you about how he feels about you, okay? He loved you. So masculines, let's get to your self-sabotage and fear, those that are still in that, okay? Just relax, drop your shoulders, and just listen to this funny sounding language. Ale mo kon sa e shon se lakriina, how momo kai, le shikin sa lakriina tagpoka. Hala shikin so momai lakira tetena, alaki imo kan shan sa laki epo. Alepusa na tetela in the kesa. Time's a waste, and they just said time's a waste, and don't. So many of these masculines, once they've come together with their feminines, I've heard them say, oh my God, I've wasted so much time. All this time wasted. I've loved her for so long and never told her. And now that we're in it, I wish I could take all that time back. I wish I could just go back and be brave 10 years ago or whatever amount of time. And they just wish that they could have that time back, you know? And they try to make up for that lost time, but it's always going to be a little bit of a sadness for you guys, but embrace the moment that he does come, embrace that. You guys are finally together then. You could look at it this way, you could have met him when you were 80. Some of you are 80. Maybe you're meeting him now. That's awesome. But it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Okay, let me continue. Amake and salaki itsan. Ashiki and salaki ino. Amake shampuma talaki ina. They asked me to tell you guys too that sometimes in these readings, when I look into the masculines and how he feels about that karmic, he's like shunning her. He's like shunning the one he's giving his life to and his attention to, or at least like being superficially in her life. And then he's dreaming of the feminine all the time. So it's crazy. Anyway, go get her. Or go get him, depending on the sex, but not depending on the sex, you know what I mean? And this is crazy too, guys. Speaking of sex, that was not a mistake. These feminines, some of them have been waiting years for you. They can't wait to have sex. They're horny as hell. They're telling me all the time, I'm going crazy. I want to have sex so bad. But they will not do it with somebody who is just out to have sex. They may have been kind of hoes in the past, like myself included. I'm an admitted hoe of the past. But, it's like you go through that and you grow up. That was back when I was the masculine, duh. I was the masculine and I had tons of options and I was exploring all of them. But, it's like these feminines have been just devoted to you and just waiting for that sweet connection, for that intimacy, that real lovemaking. So, you got your reward on the other side of this little scared moment. To break past that moment, you guys will have sex like you've never had before. It's going to be so intense. And I know some of you have actually had sex with your person. And it's different. It's different. Anyway, you guys have yourselves a beautiful day, and I hope this helped you in some way to either understand the masculine or understand the feminine better. All right. Mwah.